I'm Rachel Marcelina, and thank you for the previous speakers. And here I'm going to explain more about learning language through team-based teaching and increasing target language use in team-based teaching. So here we have the language learning potential of team-based teaching in a form of learning language through team-based teaching. So in here, the use of foreign language in the team-based teaching is largely determined by the content and activities. So let's see, why does it happen? First, we need to know that it happens because children may need support to understand the content, and the teacher need to be able to seize the opportunity and help children to notice and use the language. Well, also we need to know that the language is not as in coursebook, which is plain and selected. So teacher have to be sensitive to use and to the language. So teacher need to be able to predict and handle unpredictable uses of language which student may encounter. And team-based teaching can help the children to contribute from partial to more complete knowledge by building links and connection in the networks of children's language resources. So next we have learning vocabularies. Team-based work is like to introduce new vocabulary items. So how children may be able to work out the meaning of vocabulary. First, teaching content through foreign language is actually offers more opportunities for incidental vocab learning, in which the research have found that teaching content to teaching vocabulary through content, it's really useful for the children to remember and to work out the meaning of vocabulary, which this question is also linked to our next segment, in which is about language learning through communicative stretching. So in this case, communicative stretching um, produce moments when pupils' language resources are stretched to their limit. So in which if we want to relate it to the previous question, how children may be able to work out the meaning of vocabulary or of language. So in this communicative stretching, the children uh, need to be supported. So when the children are supported by meaningful content, they will break down the chunks of language to create new phrases that convey their meaning. So it may help them to convey what um what they actually want to say, and what in terms of both spoken and written form. So here, learning these core skills, what is the real benefit of team-based learning? So the real benefit of team-based learning is it offers a natural uses of wide range of discourse types, spoken and written, than is actually found in a course book. So in this case, we can use information text on paper, on computer, and which includes like relevant song, rhyme, video, stories, and for the computer may provide children to assess the information. So in this case, learning this core skill through team-based teaching is really give a benefit, real benefit. So next we have motivation to precision and language use. So it may raise a question, what should be in motivation to precision in language use? So here we have involve learners selecting and adapting their language resources to say or write exactly what they say. So in this case, the teacher need to encourage the students through the team-based teaching method or to the content, material content. So, so the children or learners may have more motivate more motivation to choose the language. And next we have outcomes and products from team-based learning. So in this case we have, sorry. So in this case we have what we call as outcomes and products. So what is it? So first questions that you should know, and you should know the answer, of course, is what will children produce from team-based learning? So let me give you an example of the outcomes produced in team-based learning. So the children may produce pieces of work, for example, poems, pictures, sentences, reports, or even graph. So to answer the second question, why are the pieces of work gathered together as a final stage? So in outcomes and products, so hard to pronounce it. So we need to know that the pieces of words should be gathered together as a final stage. So this is not like one way of doing the pieces of doing and making the piece of work. So it's on step. So in this case, the teacher and also the parents may together get together and make a record of what has been covered for the children and for the other people. Besides, um, besides that, the outcomes and product from the team-based learning can be something which that can be used to determine the result and the improvement of the children, which can be seen through their pieces of words. Next, we have increasing target language use in team-based teaching, which is really interesting because we need to increase target language use in team testing. But what are we going to discuss in this case? Let's see here. So we have inserting choices or decision making. So tell the words in doing and making process. In this case, for the first one, for this one, this one, tell the words in doing and making process. It's kind of um, when children do the first language, when children doing decision making and doing process, the first language will be used, and this happen when the activity become more interesting and also exciting, but yet difficult. So that's why making and doing process offer for the pupils and why. So here, let me explain it. So the process of offers opportunities for this one. The process offers opportunities for use the language for the for using the foreign language. So if the children are asked to do a task, they will need to ask some words in the foreign language. That's the reason. Next, teacher intervention. Sorry. So, what can teacher do when the students are busy? In teacher intervention means that what teachers doing throughout the learning through team-based teaching. So what teacher can do is teacher can easily move around the classroom, give comment to the children's work, or suggest alternative. That's what we call as teacher intervention. And also teacher can give support to the children in this team-based uh, teaching. Next, we have encouraging private speech in foreign language. So, how can we increase target language use in team-based teaching? By encouraging private speech in foreign language. It may arise a question: what is private speech? What does private speech speech means. So private speech means the children or the students are asked to talk to oneself or talk to themselves without any interlocutor for that. So it's more like when someone is doing their own business and they sometimes mumbling and stuff. So that's what does it mean by private speech. So it's okay if the teacher encourages students or children in private speech in foreign language especially. And next we have background language exposure and giving feedback to each other. So in background language exposure, here we have what we call as um, so here in background language exposure, the teacher may encourage the students to say rhyme or sing or playing tapes of song as the children work in order to um, giving them more exposure of the language. And for giving feedback to each other, it's just a simple way of offering like uh, for example, when first meeting, teacher may plan to gather the students to show their work, their their process, to show what have they done so far of work in progress. So in here, giving feedback to each other is just like pupils or childrens are going to give feedback to one another's works. And I think that's all for my part. Thank you so much for listening to my part, and I hope you all understand it. Thank you. Stay safe and stay home.